I heard from the palace the very next day. Look, Pendleton! There's an article about yesterday's party! Oh, hello, Pendleton. You look dapper.
I know the one. I read it this morning. You must be very pleased to have made it in that photograph.
I am! But I'm a little embarrassed too, in a way. So many people are going to read this. And the photo is massive!
It certainly is. I was right to lace your corset tighter than usual.
Not that again! You make it sound as if I've lost my figure entirely.
We ought to clip and cherish this as your most precious memory.
And now you make it sound as if my life will only get worse from here. Thanks, Pendleton. You really know how to cheer a girl up.
Ah, that's right. My lady, a messenger of the royal families came here to deliver this letter to you.
From the royal family? Can you read it aloud?
It would be my pleasure. Dear Emily Whiteley, I must thank you once more for finding my dearest Chelsea, but beyond thanks, I feel the need to further express my gratitude. If time allows it, please come to Buckingham Palace at 3 o'clock today. Her Majesty the Queen Victoria.
Oh my! Do you see this? Shall I go?
Naturally you shall. I'll have the carriage readied immediately.
I'd hoped you would come, Emily.
Oh, I would never turn it down!
I have heard the details regarding yesterday from Scotland Yard. Chelsea is home, and now that the ceremony is behind us, I wish to personally recognize your role in bringing her back to me. Again, you have my heartfelt thanks.
Not at all. It was an honor to be of service, Your Majesty.
And with that said, it pleases me to present to you, Emily, this recommendation letter to Harrington Academy. Do pay the headmaster a visit if circumstances permit.
I was taken aback by her words. I never expected anything like this. The Harrington Academy? Why, the only one that comes to mind is known for its detectives from all across the country.
Indeed, that would be the one.
But I must object! I've never thought of myself as a detective, and it would surely raise a scandal for a lady to attend a private school.
Would it? They are few in number, but there are other ladies in attendance.
Despite my doubts, Her Majesty's smile did not falter.
In truth, I believe it will soon become commonplace for women to attend school and guide their own futures.
But I've been living in the countryside until now. I can't say I know the ways of the world as a student would. I've learned a variety of subjects from my butler and studied those as necessary, but I've never been to a school. Can I really attend school?
It is my earnest wish that you do. Your mother was once granted the same opportunity, as it happens.
Truly? My mother was a student?
Indeed. She was bright, but ever so humble. Teachers and schoolmates alike adored her. I would always come to her when I felt troubled, and never once did she hesitate to extend her hand to me.
I had no idea of any of this. I'm still in shock you knew Mother so well.
If I may, permit me to gift you this ring. Both my name and yours are engraved along its inner band.
Dang, this queen moves fast. As she handed the ring to me, I couldn't help but be captivated by its brilliant polish. Oh, that's what that is. What an interesting ring. Okay, I was wondering why there was a crown attached to the London detective Mysteria, and it turns out it's actually a ring. Forgive me for asking, but is this Your Majesty's? I have heard those who possess it are recognized as detectives under your name, but I've never seen it before.
Never? Oh, but I'm almost certain you've seen it before.
Have I?
You will know the answer in time. For now, remember that with this ring, all doors in London will be open to you, and all assistance at your fingertips. I gave the same ring to Holmes Jr. He has also become one of my most trusted detectives.
Deservedly so, I would say. Wow. I'm glad Emily holds no malice against Holmes Jr.
And there are more young detectives with this ring still at the Academy. It warms my soul to see you now among them.
I'm honored beyond words. Thank you. I squeezed the ring tightly in the palm of my hand. I couldn't bear the thought of losing it. I do fear I've yet to truly earn this wonderful gift, but that motivates me to feel worthy all the more.
You needn't be so nervous, Emily. You have ambition, creativity, and flexibility, all the makings of a detective. The only thing left to do is help those who would depend on your wit and courage. My faith is yours to keep.
Thank you dearly, Your Majesty. I won't let you down, I swear it! I picked up my skirt and curtsied. An unexpected mystery I stumbled upon paved way to meeting new, exciting people and opportunities. This would be the start of my days at the prestigious Harrington Academy. Darling debut, achievement unlocked. Her Majesty's ring, a symbol of being granted the role of detective by none other than Her Majesty the Queen. To be continued. What is this? An anime? Whiteley in Wonderland. Huh, I wonder if the game is divided into mysteries.
Well then, my lady. Due wholly to Her Majesty's generosity, you have been officially enrolled in Harrington Academy. It pains me to admit that I still harbor reservations. Until now, you have been entirely dependent upon me, so I worry how you'll excel as a proper woman on your own. Pardon. You have more to shoulder now than displays of elegance. You must show the makings of a detective. This is, of course, in addition to your role as heir of House Whiteley.
And don't forget, I'm also looking to smooch somebody.
Allow me to test you with some questions to ensure you're equipped with everything you may need.
Yeah, Pendleton, that sounds like a great idea. I will not cheat this at all. Not even a little bit. Continue.
Ah, but before that, I have something to explain in regards to solving future cases.
Pendleton, I saved.
I should hope that you make great use of it during your investigations. This is called the Detective Diary.
I was wondering when that was going to come into play.
Over the course of your investigations, you will hear a variety of testimonies, and the Detective Diary may be used to record them. I urge you to note any testimony you find out of place, even if it's only minorly suspect. Some may prove to be false leads, yes, but you never know when one of them could lead to a breakthrough.
So funny I'm playing 2 games that have diaries involved.
Sift through your notes, question inocuities, turn a case on its head. These are the keys to sharpening your senses over the course of your investigations. I believe that's everything. My lady, would you like me to explain again?
Oh, it's timed. No, I'm alright. Thank you. I get it. Time choices. Oh boy. Delightful. I assume if the choices are timed, I can't save when the choice comes up. So I'd have to, like, guess, but let's hope nothing too terrible happens.
I'm pleased to hear it. I expect you'll make thorough use of my advice from here on. Next, I'd like to test your skills of observation. By the by, now would be an excellent time to make use of the Detective Diary.
Okay, I don't have anything in my diary yet. Oh, so I can delete stuff, I can play it, I can record? Oh, I have to actually physically make records of people's... Oh, how interesting. Oh, I like that. I also hate it because I'm not gonna know what's important. Oh no! Oh no. And then I have to delete it as time goes. Okay, Pendleton, I'm getting ready for my questions. Yeah, that's fine.
First question.
A and B.
The police receive eyewitness reports in regards to a murder. There are 2 witnesses. However, they only saw the criminal's back. The first testimony is as follows.
Okay, probably want to track this. He had blonde hair and wore a white shirt paired with a moss green coat. He also happened to have a beautiful gold ring on his right hand. Okay. Cool. Very cool.
And this is the second testimony.
He had long hair as well as a tightly worn red tie. Since he walked rhythmically and had excellent posture, it's possible he's a well-trained soldier.
Okay. Okay. So witness A said he had blonde hair and wore a white shirt with a moss green coat and a gold ring. And the second witness said he had long hair and a tightly worn red tie. He walked rhythmically and had excellent posture, so he might be a soldier. Okay.
If it isn't clear enough already, one of these testimonies is false. You know who the liar is, don't you?
I don't... The second one? I don't even remember what the question was. Okay, so before... I should have saved there. Anyway, okay, so I got that right, but I was just panic clicking at that point, so I'm like, I can reload after, it's fine. Okay. Yay!
That's correct. It is most suspicious that witness B knows the color of the criminal's tie and how they wore it despite only seeing their back.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is an excellent start. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, sure, Pendleton. Whatever you say. I will pay more attention this time now that I know what's coming. Okay.
Let's move on to the next question. Dying messages and final testaments found at crime scenes are often powerful clues in investigations. As a detective, you must know how to properly distinguish handwriting, which brings us to here.
Okay, now there's 3.
I currently have 3 handwritten papers on my person. However, one of them was written by a different hand.
I mean, A is very obviously different. From what I can tell. I mean, the 4 alone.
My lady, you know what I am about to ask, don't you?
Which paper was written by a different hand? A. Okay, that one was simple. That one I can handle. Pendleton, you found something that I can handle.
Brilliant. That is correct. There are times when you must know the answer at that very moment. In the future, take care to always observe your surroundings closely.
Okay. No pressure, Pendleton. Okay.
It's time for the third question. This is the last one I have to test your skills of observation. No matter what I say, there is but one correct answer. One. Bear that in mind when choosing. There was once a nobleman who owned 8 precious gems.
Okay. Almost look like earrings.
Sadly, a number of these gems were stolen from his mansion. Scotland Yard investigated the incident before making 3 arrests. According to the trio of thieves, they just happened to have pilfered the gems separately on the same day. Upon being asked how many gems were pilfered, the first proudly proclaimed,
I was the first to steal the gems. Got myself 4 of them.
Okay. Put that in my diary. Can I just go over that one? Overwrite? Yes. Okay, so I don't have to delete. I can just overwrite. So culprit A got 4, so that leaves 4.
Our second thief insisted,
I stole half the number of gems the third thief stole.
Math! Alright. I just want to make sure I'm getting used to this. I don't really need to record it, but I want to make sure. Okay, so he got 4, he got 2, so that's 6, so there's 2 left. Gotcha.
and our last thief stuttered,
The first thief made off with twice the amount I did.
The first thief made off with twice the amount you did. Okay. So you got 4, you got 2, and it sounds like you also got 2. Right? 4. Half, that's 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So that's 8 altogether. So all the so that they stole all 8. Okay.
how many gems are left in the mansion?
Okay, I'm gonna save here. I mean, it should be 0, shouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. 0's not an option. 1? Then? The math doesn't add up, but 0 wasn't an option there. Okay, I guess I got it right. That's kind of strange. I didn't want to say, I haven't the foggiest. I knew it wasn't going to be 3.
Splendid, my lady. It would have been possible to reach the answer using simple arithmetic, of course. Or you could have listened for my hint, which you most certainly did. There is but one correct answer. 1.
Pendleton, I don't think you and I agree on math.
It is as important to mind the words of your allies as it is your suspects. The observational part of the test is complete.
Okay, well, one of them I aced. Another one, math didn't add up, and the first one I panicked on. Oh. Look at a cute little chabby.
You answered every question correctly. I'm very pleased. My lady, keep this up, and no matter how subtle the evidence or underlying message in a testimony, you will surely notice it. Just know that no amount of evidence is worth risking your safety. Observe when it is too much to handle alone, for there is no greater reward in a case than to still draw breath by the end of it.
Wise words. Oh.
I now have 2 more questions which test your resolve as a detective.
Of course you do, Pendleton. Of course you do. Alright.
Let's begin. First question. This is a hypothetical situation, but I wish for you to apply this scenario to yourself. You are taking a stroll in London when you discover a 10-pound note on the ground. You picked it up, but there is a starving child crouching before you. He is dreadfully thin and wearing filthy clothes. There are holes in his shoes. You imagine the boy to be from the slums. Judging by how he is alone and can hardly move, he is an orphan and is severely malnourished. That 10-pound note you found is nearly the same amount of money a maid can earn in 1 month's time. You might be able to save the child and help give him a better life with this 10-pound note. At the same time, you also have a duty to deliver this money to Scotland Yard. Surely the one who lost it must be looking for it, no? Tell me, what would you do in this case?
I mean, as a detective, I should report it to the police.
Interesting. So you choose to follow the law. When people are tied to their emotions, they have a difficult time thinking logically.
I wonder if these two questions are like, who personality-wise you match up with when you're going to school. Watson would very much be a bleeding heart and give the money to the boy. But Sherlock would be like, it is our duty to give it to the police. I wonder if that's what these two questions are for.
Keep training yourself to make calm, rational judgments even in an emergency. Now, this is the last question I have. Are you ready?
I will be in a second. Sorry, Pendleton. Cheating on you. Not in that way. I'm ready.
This, too, is a hypothetical situation. You have someone you love with all your heart. But he has committed murder. His motivation stemmed from vengeance, as his mother and father were murdered when he was a child. You know how difficult his life has been, and you know he's had to live that life alone. Then he beseeches you, let us flee the country and live together. Should you choose to flee, you will be regarded as an accessory. You will never be able to return home again. You will never be able to see your friends again. And if you suggest he turn himself in to the police, he will be charged with homicide and executed. You will never see him again. What will you do?
Well, if it was Herlock, what would I do? I mean, this is what Herlock would do.
You've chosen to follow the path of the law, even if it means losing the one you hold most dear. I admire you. You are more than prepared to solve any number of cases that would fall at your feet. That's everything I wanted to ask. With this, congratulations are in order. You've passed your first true test. I will be eagerly watching your development in Harrington Academy henceforth. Just take care to not get too carried away. Stay sharp, my lady, no matter the circumstances.
Aye, aye. I'll do my best.
Here you are. I've made your very favorite omelet.
It's exquisite.
And this here is herb roasted veal accompanied by ratatouille.
Oh, this is wonderful. It tastes so good.
My lady. My lady!
Huh? What?
My lady, it's time to wake up.
Is she dreaming of food? Wake up? What do you mean? It's the middle of breakfast, isn't it? Then again, I'm so full. I can't possibly eat another bite.
Are you sure? Won't you have some lemon milfoy with cream?
I suppose it couldn't hurt. I always have room for dessert. What on earth? Suddenly I feel so sleepy.
My lady, you have to wake up. If you're not out of bed within 5 seconds, your breakfast shall make its way right back into the kitchen. Do you hear me?
No, wait! I jumped straight out of bed. Don't take away my food! Identify with this girl. Oh, that was a dream, wasn't it?
Good morning, my lady.
Yes. Good morning. Of course, my stomach chose to growl at that very moment. How terrible. Why am I so hungry?
Come now. It's time you get dressed for the day.
Is this breakfast? A small slice of toast and salad? Where's that lemon milfoy with cream?
I see half your mind is still in bed.
It is not. I'm never half asleep. Or would it be half awake? Oh, I feel terribly mixed up this morning.
Well, now is the time to be all awake. Alicia, have her change into her uniform post-haste.
Right away, sir. My lady, this skirt is a bit snug for the present, so I suggest you not eat any more of your breakfast than is needed. If I must. It did not matter if you were man or woman, working or the nobility, child or adult, as the sun rose early for all who lived in London. Today was no exception. It should have been as ordinary as days previous, and for most it certainly was. Only for me did the morning feel foreign, as it marked the beginning of my life as a student. I had always been educated under Pendleton's strict tutelage, and he rarely approved of me leaving the mansion without sufficient cause. Rather, he did not approve, but I allowed myself a bit of freedom whenever his back was turned. There were times when I needed to play outside, fish, or climb trees. Oh yes, how I craved to be overwhelmed by nature's scent. If only I weren't scolded to no end by Pendleton once he found me. To complain of his scoldings is a childish grievance, of course. I always knew that my life had been one of security. But it was not too much to ask for a fresh new world of friends with whom I could wax silly notions, or a love that takes my breath away, was it? No, not to me. I wanted those things. I needed adventure. I inwardly thanked my benefactors as I had begun nibbling on the toast from my morning breakfast. The dream of receiving an education in a private school had long been a societal barrier I wished to overcome. Pendleton, protective as always, refused every time the topic was brought to light. But he knew he could not dismiss a recommendation letter from Her Majesty the Queen. She had personally opened the doors to Harrington Academy, as thanks for finding her pet cat Chelsea. He still held doubts as to how I would fare, but with circumstances as they were, he accepted with his usual grace. His acceptance being rather reluctant is beside the point. The Academy had an outstanding reputation and an equally outstanding student body, with a great many of them having traveled from far away to chart their futures. What made it stand out all the more was an unusual curriculum, the detectives course.
I have some tea for your pleasure.
Thank you.
I ask once more that you keep a watchful eye when beyond the mansion's gates, my lady. Your life has been a blessed one, so it is no fault of yours if you don't see the world as I do. But see it now. London is a criminal city, full of murderers, kidnappers, muggers, and thieves. Never should your mind be left to wander.
There it was. He often warned me of danger in this manner, driving himself frantic in the process. It was impossible to stop him once he started. The best thing to do was to nod politely and pretend to listen. Yes, I suppose so.
And academies are a veritable hell for youths, where jealousy, treachery, and evil are abound.
Right.
I've become so distraught that I can no longer sleep. What if your bloated corpse were to be discovered in the Thames tonight?
Terrifying.
What if your delicate frame were diced like onions and delivered to every postbox in London by morning? If that happened, how could I beg your father's forgiveness? I tell you that he would accept no such thing. He would haunt me from beyond his grave.
That he would.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, yes.
I'll say it as many times as needed. You can never be too careful. I shall personally see to it that you are guarded from—
Please don't follow me. Please. Pendleton answered with a devilish smile.
Out of the question. I must escort you.
Drat. Well, I am finished with my breakfast. It was small, but still quite good, so thank you. Should we be going soon?
Indeed. Do you have everything you need? Are you wearing your uniform correctly? And do you have your ring from Her Majesty?
Yes, yes, and yes. I have it right here with me.
And please, bring this with you to the Academy as well.
Pendleton handed me a white bag with whitely stitched near its bottom. What's this?
A deposit for your graduation trip.
Is it? How lovely! Thank you!
This is everything, I think. If anything happens, I will—
Nothing will happen. Let's go! Pendleton was an admirable butler, but I often suspected he would grow bald from nerves before old. Even with that long, luscious hair? Perhaps he made it his very nature to fret. With no mother and father to guide me, the duty fell to him to be my butler, my caretaker, my mother, and my father, and he dedicated himself religiously to each role. Now he worried with all those roles combined at the thought of sending his child into the world. Alone! Oh, the dangers that could befall her! The dangers, however, could not have been further from me. I could not have been more excited to attend school for the first time. At last, the start of a new chapter in my life. My excitement left me so lost in thought that I didn't notice my surroundings. The coachman suddenly jerked on the reins, forcing the carriage to a full stop. What happened? Is something wrong?
There's a bit of traffic before the academy due to the number of student cabs on the road.
Oh dear. Why hadn't I thought of that? Of course there would be a problem if every student arrived in the same manner.
Harrington Academy is a prestigious establishment in London, so many of its students are nobles who arrive by carriage.
Would it not be more efficient if I were to live in the dormitory then? What a thrilling thought! And we wouldn't have to worry about traffic either.
Absolutely not. Efficient for you, and twice as inefficient for your schoolmates, with the endless trouble you would perpetuate. In the future, the number of students traveling from home will grow to the point of rendering boarding schools obsolete. I assure you that, if anything, Harrington Academy is ahead of its time.
You speak as if you've already seen the future. Moving on.
What would you have me do? At this rate, it'll be a half hour at least before we reach the academy.
A half hour? I can't wait that long. I cannot be late for school on my first day. Please, let me off here. I'll run the rest of the way.
That won't do, my lady.
You can't stop me. I will run. Before he could speak another word, I'd kicked open. I like to imagine she kicked open the carriage door with certain force and jumped out.
My lady! You forgot your lunchbox!
Ugh. Yes, you can stop me for that. I simply could not stomach the thought of lunch without... lunch. As I reached for the box, Pendleton stepped off the carriage and grasped my hand in a handsome motion. Oh!
Do remember that if you were killed upon being trampled by an oncoming carriage, we would all be out of a job.
Really? I'm not stupid! Pendleton taking my hand was unexpected, but nevertheless I broke away from him and continued towards the academy. He followed with the nervous air that governs a mother hen when fearful for her chicks. I could hear various pieces of gossip from the carriages stuck in traffic as they observed me running past. Oh no. Eyeless people again.
Look, that girl looks like the one from the paper.
The one who received a ring from Her Majesty, yes? That is her.
And her butler, what an attractive gentleman.
Oh yes, that pale hair is such an enviable shade.
I've never thought so before, but Pendleton was perhaps considered an attractive enough man that most would fawn over his looks.
Beg pardon, but only students of this academy may enter.
What nonsense. I am her butler, her guardian.
Well, thanks for walking me. You're a dear.
A dear, she says with so much cheek. Do be careful, my lady. Don't follow anyone you don't know. And don't accept any gifts from strangers. And don't behave
Got it!
And she's off. I hope nothing goes wrong.